Thanks for stopping by, GF Explorers. Today, we are going to answer two of the biggest questions in the RV world. And we're going to answer them at least for us. Maybe not for you, but we're going to answer them for us. And that is, to dually or not to dually? That is the question. And are you a Ford, Chevy, or a Ram person? If you watched our video last week, you saw we spent some time in a Class A. We had to answer the question, was a Class A right for our lifestyle? And we just determined after spending a good couple hours, touring a couple of Class A's, looking at different floor plans, and just kind of sitting and spending some time and really thinking about how we live our lives and how we go about our day, was a Class A right for us? And we just determined a Class A wasn't going to fit our lifestyle. So it's a fifth wheel and a truck for us.
Woohoo! The decision to haul your rig with a dually or not a dually, a two-wheel versus a four-wheel, it is a very personal decision because there's so many people out there, YouTube videos, dealerships, they're going to give you their opinion. And what we discovered, we found, is that you have to do your own research. You have to figure out what works for you. And then when it comes to Ford, Chevy, or Dodge, yeah, you're going to get some opinions there too, whether it be YouTube or the dealership, and there's going to be some personal opinions too. Rich and I, we've been Ford people forever, so of course we're going to first go to Ford. But we might find that a Chevy is better or a Ram is better. But the bottom line here is what works for you or what you're hauling, based on what you're hauling, is going to be a personal decision. You have to do your own research because in our experience, in the research we've done, there's so much conflicting information. And I think it really boils down to your comfort level. You're hauling your house behind you. In our case, it's everything we own is going to be in that house. And so we have to make this decision with lots of information and be very thoughtful in this decision.
So if you've been following along in our journey, you know that we've looked at a lot of fifth wheels. Every single one of the units that we looked at were between 40 and 43 feet. That's a lot of rig.
That's a big rig.
Yep. And so what we wanted to do was set a base gross vehicle weight rating, which gross vehicle weight rating is the weight of the fifth wheel and all of your stuff in it. So we set our baseline at 18,500 pounds to determine which truck was going to be right for us. Now, in my past life, which we don't always like to talk about.
That was BV, which
BV.
Did anything really happen before Victoria?
Exactly. So I had a horse and had a Ford Super Duty and a horse trailer. Now, for me personally, I was always comfortable with the 80-20 rule, meaning we never went beyond 80% of a truck's towing capacity. I always felt comfortable with the fact that, number one, I had more if I needed it in terms of cargo carrying capacity, in terms of weight. What happens if I wanted to get a new horse trailer or I wanted to add 2 horses to the rig instead of 1 horse? So I always loved that safety of having extra capacity, whether it's towing capacity, weight capacity, cargo carrying capacity, etc. So going into our research now, we're following that same philosophy. It's the 80-20 rule. Whatever it says the truck can handle as a towing capacity, we're going to set our numbers at 80% of that truck's capacity. And so let's look at what that looks like between a single rear wheel and a dual rear wheel. And I think you made it pretty clear. We're going with the Ford.
Well, yeah, we kind of are. We're Ford people. And, that 20% is important. That's the screw-up factor. That's the unknown factor. It's like if you get into a nasty situation, you got 20% to rely on. And I find that's important. And I know that living out here in Colorado and knowing that we're going to be coming to Colorado, back to Colorado a lot, we know what you need, to get through the mountains and to get through the Colorado terrain. And so that 20% is really critical.
So let's show you what we found in our research. So the Ford F350 single rear wheel had a fifth wheel towing capacity of 21,700 pounds, which sounds like a lot of weight.
Yeah.
And when you look at it on its face value, covers the fact that we have a gross vehicle weight rating for our rig and all of our cargo of 18,500 pounds. However, When you apply our 80-20 rule, that drops that capacity of that truck down to 17,500 pounds. So the other number to look at is the gross combined weight rating. That's basically the weight of everything. The truck, your gear in the truck, your trailer or fifth wheel, and all the gear in it. The gross combined weight rating of the F350 single rear wheel was 30,000 pounds. Now, not even taking into consideration the 80-20 rule, the weight of the truck and the weight of the trailer at 18,500 pounds was 30,000 pounds exactly. With the size of rigs that Victoria and I are looking at, that has us at the max, and applying our 80-20 rule puts us over by about, you're right, 10% on both cargo carrying capacity as well as towing capacity. So now we want to take a look at the F350 dual rear wheel. So before we get into what we found on the dual rear wheel truck, I want to let you know that most of the numbers that I came up with came from the Ford Towing Guide, and I'll put a link down in the description below so you can go to that guide and review all these numbers yourself. We can't emphasize enough, do your own research. Everybody's rig is different. There's different weights, different cargo carrying capacities. Look and research the rig that's right for you. Whatever you do, please don't listen to your RV salesman or the guy at the Ford dealer who's just trying to sell you a truck.
And that's not to say that your Ford dealer or your RV dealer does not have your best interest at hand, but sometimes, and we have heard stories, we don't say this out of hand that this is just what we believe. We have heard stories where people who were buying a rig and were steered in a certain direction on the truck, and it turned out to be not the right direction. So just to make yourself feel more secure, do your own research, because it may not be malicious that the dealer, the Ford dealer or the RV dealer steers you in the wrong direction. They may not have all the information, but at the end of the day, it is our responsibility to have all the information to make the best choice for us and for you. So do your research.
So with that, as we dug into the F350 dual rear wheel, here's what we found. So the gross combined weight rating of the F350 dually and a 42-foot rig at 18,500 pounds is 43,500 pounds. Our combined weight with all of our gear is about 33,000 pounds. So in the case of the dually, even if you apply the 80-20 rule, we're still 5,000 plus pounds over.
So we're
what we need.
70-30 rule.
Right.
That's even better.
Yes, exactly. And the cargo carrying capacity, when you factor that in with the truck and the pin weight of the trailer, approximately 3,000 pounds, we still have almost 2,000 pounds of cargo carrying capacity in the F350. So again, you're almost at the 70-30 rule.
Yeah.
We've got plenty of capacity to tow everything we want to tow, put everything we need to put in there.
And we could even strap a smart car on the roof of the F350
and probably still have
room. But the bottom line is what we have is a sense of security.
Now, can we talk about the cons?
Yeah, that it's a huge truck. Yeah, you go. Keep going. Yeah.
And I'm probably, realistically, I'm probably going to drive it more than you.
Yes.
And so let's talk about, it's a big ass truck.
It is a big ass truck.
It's nearly 26 feet long. It's wider than a single rear wheel truck. So what does that look like? One, you can't park it in one parking spot.
No, it's a 4 parking space situation, which means you're way out in the back 40, which
for us isn't bad.
The pro to that is you get more steps, which is good.
Right.
Yeah.
You're not taking a dually through a drive-through, your Starbucks or your local bank. That's out of the picture right
Unless
there.
you want to take out the drive-through with you. Yeah.
Right. Not to mention the fact that you can't take a dually into a regular car wash. So you're either taking it to a truck wash, which is going to be a lot more expensive, or you're washing it yourself. And there's a lot of campgrounds out there that don't allow vehicle washing anymore.
Right. And if you want to go downtown, anywhere, you're not doing it. So you're going to leave the truck at the campsite and you're going to take an Uber, which, not so bad, but it's just one of those things. You're not going, if when we get to the Northeast, we're going to have some issues because those are much more narrow roads in the Northeast than maybe out here out west. So
Right.
there's going to be some issues. There are definitely some cons.
So the big factor for us is form and function over safety and peace of mind. And that's our biggest decision.
Yes. So after all of our research, we decided on, surprise, a Ford F350 dually. I'm so excited. I cannot wait to ride in that big truck. I cannot say I'm excited to drive that big truck, but I'm going to learn how to drive that big truck because I need to, and I will be fine. It'll be fun.
Now, these things are expensive. So we immediately started looking at used inventory. Well, number one, we all kind of know what's going on in the world right now. There is no inventory out there. And if there is inventory out there, it's expensive. And so what we found is you got to go 3 to 5 year old vehicle to get to the same price as what you could order a vehicle for on the Ford website. So what was the thought? A 5 year old vehicle where most of the warranty has expired, or for the same price, order a new vehicle where one, we get the options we want,
Pick what we want.
the colors we want,
Yep.
and then we get that full factory warranty.
The warranty. I mean, it was a no-brainer.
So-
It was a literal no-brainer. And
Yeah.
it was so crazy to see the pricing on used vehicles versus new. I mean, it was just really, when I say no-brainer, if there's any better example of a no-brainer, I don't know of it.
Now, we do face a risk with placing an order for a vehicle. The chip shortage still exists out there in the world. The dealer couldn't give us any assurances that we're going to get a truck in time. However, we do have time on our side. So right now they are taking 15 to 16 weeks to get a delivery, which is about 4 months. And luckily, worst case scenario, we're 6 months out. So if there is a month or two delay,
We'll be fine.
fingers crossed, we're still in good shape. So we went ahead and placed an order for an F350 dually Lariat Ultimate package. So we got some nice equipment on it. It's not the Platinum package. It's not the King Ranch, which is the top of the line.
Which we didn't feel we needed.
No,
that.
there was a bunch of stuff there that we just didn't need and we would never use. But we got the rig nicely equipped. So we are super excited. Our order's been placed. The order's been confirmed by Ford Motor Company, and hopefully by the end of the month, we should have our build date. So it's been taking about 6 weeks from the time you place an order to actually get a date when they're going to build your truck, and then you typically get it about 6 to 8 weeks after that. So we could potentially be
End
looking...
of February, early March,
Yep.
if we're lucky, early February, that would be great.
Yes.
But I mean, I don't think we're going to have a problem. I think we're in a good place with the order. It's, basically, if you have the time to order a new truck, order a new truck. I mean, that you are being rewarded if you plan ahead. And if you don't have time to plan and you're looking for a used truck, that's where you're going to find lots of issues and lots of extra money. So we're fortunate that we planned so well. We have 6 months. I feel very confident we're going to get the truck when we want it, when we need it.
Yep.
And if we don't, we'll deal with it. We'll figure it out. But we're super excited because we got to build it from the ground up. It's so much fun. If you've never ordered a vehicle, I'm not going to say go ahead, order a vehicle, and only if you need to, of course. But it's a fun process. You get to add all of your options, what colors you want. You want this, you want that. It's really kind of cool.
So do you know what the big question is now?
Do I have to drive it?
That's another big question.
Yeah, no, not the, okay, what is the big question?
The big question now is, what rig are we ordering? What fifth wheel are we ordering?
Oh, well, that's another video. No, we are this close to a decision. And matter of fact, what, a week from today, you're going to know.
The answer's coming next week.
Yeah.
So the truck order's been placed. We're committed. We're moving forward. I would say it feels real now.
Well, yeah, I mean, when you place an order for a, what, $75,000 truck to pull a rig you haven't even decided on, oh yeah, that's real. Yeah, that's very real.
Yeah, for sure. So definitely check in next week to see what we decide on. So thanks so much for watching. Please like our channel. It helps us immensely. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe, and for sure hit that notification bell because you want to be alerted anytime we have videos. So until next time, happy exploring.